Anyone from Popcorn Movies Taiwan? Hi, Reggie Shaw.
Hi Annie, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much.
This is scorching hot.
You need cool air, baby, I'm not fooling.
Blisteringly hot. Just for it to be this hot.
Let's go!
Good evening.
I must complain that you definitely wear too many clothes this time, especially when I saw you say you had the best ass in your life
Yeah.
while shooting.
I instantly regretted saying that the moment I did, but thank you very much.
姐姐妹妹们别着急，这次看《龙与地下城：盗贼荣耀》，口水还是会流满地的啦，因为包很紧，还是帅。
I'm glad he's on our side.
So did you work out like crazy to be ready for slaying the dragon?
Yes, they had me working very, very hard, mostly because they wanted it to feel like you were actually slaying the dragon. So our directors, John Daly and John Goldstein, were very passionate that yes, it's a fantasy movie and there's lots of magic, but they didn't want it to feel like a green screen movie. They didn't want it to just be CGI and effects and nothing feels real. They're big fans of like old Jackie Chan movies. They wanted the fights to feel like these long takes with like humorous bits, and like the impact of the action should actually really hit home. Which meant that every day I wasn't filming, I was with the stunt guys. I was in the stunt facility training for maybe 3 or 4 hours. They took me through the routines. They got me really fit, because you can't do this take after take after take if you're not fit enough. And on top of that, you got to wear the armor, you got to wear the cape. Everything's really quite heavy. And so I really, really enjoyed training for it, and I sweat a lot for this role. But I think that the result is that the fights look really, really cool. I think Michelle Rodriguez has some of the greatest action sequences I've seen for a while in this movie. Which are both thrilling and dangerous, but also really funny. And that's a real tightrope to walk, a real skill. So I enjoyed training for it, and I enjoyed what they did with that, because it means that the world feels real, even though it's very fantastical.
Keep still.
What would you do after a long day fighting, sweating, and everything?
I'd sleep. I did a lot of sleeping. It was fighting, sweating, and sleeping. That was the Dungeons & Dragons experience for me.
不过你绝对没想到，穿这么多可是有妙用的哦。咦？
And I was surprised to learn that you will actually hide your phone under your costume and armor. Didn't it
Were you
vibrate
watching
or
the last
something?
interview? That's cheating. Go on, please.
So didn't it vibrate, or you just turn it off? I can't imagine that.
You try and keep it off. If it vibrates, it makes all kinds of noise, and that's not what you want. And then the jig is up. You got to be sneaky about these things, you know? No, it's more so that you're ready to kind of capture any moments. If there's like a really cool time when you can get a picture of what's going on, or to kind of. There are also very long days on set, and so sometimes you've got to keep yourself amused while we're moving a camera around for the next 2 hours. But thank you for exposing my secrets to the world. I can't say how much I appreciate that.
So please watch the phone. No.
2020年，因为伯杰顿家族一炮而红 ，Reggie 上的片约不断，甚至传闻有望成为新任007。回想2021年夏天，在拍摄《龙与地下城》时，即使远在北爱尔兰贝尔法斯特拍外景，他一样感受到爆红的威力。
So what was the craziest film encounter for you so far?
I mean, there's been a couple. The folks in Belfast were very unshy about making themselves known. I'd be kind of trying to take a walk by the seaside often, and someone would just like hop out from around the corner and go, "Hey, welcome to Belfast!" And like, I wasn't expecting you there, but hello. That's a very, very loud way to greet someone. But nothing too crazy. Sometimes people are very enthusiastic, and I think it's important to remain graceful and grateful for that, because there's nothing more that you want in this career than people being grateful for the work you put out. Like that's the best thing in the world. You want to make something and give it to people, and for them to be excited about it. And there's nothing but gratitude and gratification when that happens.
Oh, I got a good feeling about this.
帅哥，有美女，有搞笑，有动作，有温馨。《龙与地下城》是好莱坞许久不见的冒险动作片，改编自桌游却不拘泥于游戏本身，让玩家和影迷都给他拍拍手。
I'd never played the game before. I was sent the script, and my nephew, who is a big D&D player and has written his own campaigns and drawn his own maps and played with the same group of kids for many years, sat my whole family down and coached us through a 3-hour session of D&D. So I got to play with my whole family, had a great time.
I hadn't played the game before the movie, except when the entire cast got together to play a game of Dungeons & Dragons together right before we started filming. And so my experience was gloriously funny and chaotic because this cast are gloriously funny and very chaotic. We sat around a table. We played our characters, so I played a paladin, Chris was playing his bard, Michelle was her barbarian, Sophia was the druid, Simon Justice was playing the sorcerer, and our directors joined in as a two-headed bird creature because why not? And we just kind of jammed this thing out. We saw how far we could push the characters. We saw how silly the things we could do were whilst also holding onto real stakes. And we first started feeling the dynamics of how you could pass that between each other and what each cast member brought and in what specific ways each cast member was unpredictable, what they lent into, what they enjoyed, and how you can contribute to that. And so we all just did what actors do. We played together, we made a really playful thing, and then we wanted to share that with our friends, which is you guys in the audience.
As a non-D&Der, I really enjoy this ride with you guys and want to go whatever adventure this group will have for. But I want to know which scene took you most time to figure it out and shoot.
I think probably the chase with our druid character who keeps changing into different animals. That was probably the longest thing because we came up with it when we were first pitching the movie to the studio.
I'd say the other most complex piece to shoot was when they're putting the portal inside the wagon.
There was like so many different moving parts of it, and like I was inside that what do you call it? Caravan. I was inside that wagon for a long time. We kept coming back to it too, because they wanted it to work out really well and smoothly. So
the logistics of what's being seen through the portal, which way it's facing, how to go through it, that was incredibly complicated to film.
This is unlike anything we've ever seen.
For Jeremy, what was the most difficult part for you?
I think the most difficult part was probably trying to mount a production that big. I mean, this is the biggest movie, and I've made some really large films, Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, but this was the biggest footprint that I think we've ever had on a movie. We had 120 sets, we had thousands of extras. It was really like an old-fashioned, giant, epic, big screen adventure that we were making. And so just trying to pull it all together and the logistics that it took to kind of gather the team was really challenging, but really fun when you see it all put together and you realize the size and scope of these worlds that these guys created. It's just, it's mammoth.
Yeah, it wasn't all in front of a blue screen. I think that's one of the big differences is that you really feel the scope because it's there, it's tangible. And very often I think there are a lot of movies that rely on digital backgrounds. And for us, it was so gratifying to be able to tackle it in the real space.
We really were focused on making this movie as good as it can be. Jeremy, our producer here, he likes to remind us, you make one good movie. Don't worry about a universe or a franchise. And that's truly what we did. We really, if it's successful and they want to make another, we'd be excited to jump back in. But we're not even really thinking about that at this point.
This ends now.
What?
Let's go!
Hello, Taiwan. We hope you'll enjoy Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves on the biggest screen you can find because it was made for those screens.
Hey Taiwan, how's it going? I'm really looking forward to you guys seeing this movie. Thank you so much for watching this interview. The movie is the most fun that I've had in the cinema for years. And I think it's a really rare thing to have something to go and watch with your friends that you're going to walk out of laughing and smiling and talking about. And that's why we made the movie for you.
Anything you want to add?
I'm good.
Thank you very much. Can't wait for the sequel.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
the most fun I had.
Can't wait for the sequel spin-off of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
it was
you.
lovely talking to you.
Thank you very much. Can't wait for the sequel. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye.